This is the story of Andrea Doria, the most luxurious Italian ocean liner ever built. She was famed for her incredible Art Deco-style interiors and the opulence of her staterooms. But she became infamous for being involved in one of the worst maritime disasters of all time. This is the story of Andrea Doria. The year is 1956, and passenger liners are getting bigger than ever before. The largest ship afloat is the 815-foot-long, nearly 110,000 gross-ton behemoth SS United States. And Europe's finest ocean liner is the Italian line's flagship, the 732-foot-long, 46,000 gross-ton, 20-knot beauty, Andrea Doria. Named after the celebrated 15th-century painter and sculptor Andrea Doria, the ship was built by Ansaldo shipyards in Italy between 1948 and 1951. She was designed to be the most elegant and refined Italian ship ever built, featuring 2 funnels, a low-pitched hull, and the classic 3-island layout. Her interiors were even more lavish. They were based on the interiors of the famous ocean liners of the 1930s like the Normandy and the Bremen. All materials were imported from France because they were deemed to be of higher quality. There were glistened marble staircases, beautiful mosaic floors, and furnishings made out of French walnut. Even the carpets were made especially for the ship in France at a cost of over $1 million alone. The first-class dining room could seat 800 people. Its walls were paneled in mahogany, and it contained an exquisite collection of 18th-century French art. The ship also featured a number of exclusive venues such as the expensive-to-join-by-the-way smoking room and bar reserved exclusively for men only. It had comfortable armchairs and sofas and walls paneling decorated with paintings by Picasso and Dali. Women could enjoy themselves in the first-class lounge with its pastel pink color scheme and the mirrored ballroom with its gold leafing and crystal chandeliers. There was also a large open-air promenade deck with bars and cabanas, a swimming pool, and hot tubs. And there was even a small casino with roulette tables, slot machines, and a bar. Of course, there was also a grand staircase that acted as the main thoroughfare between decks, with its ornate red carpet runner and wrought iron banisters. And lastly, the ship boasted 135 staterooms for passengers, with 18 of them being suites. The cheapest cabins were still quite spacious by today's standards, and the suites were veritable palaces with separate living rooms, bedrooms, and bathrooms complete with jacuzzis. But none of these features were particularly unique or game-changing. In fact, the ship was already outdated when she set sail on her maiden voyage from Genoa to New York on May 1951. But what the ship lacked in innovation, she more than made up for in luxury and elegance. Everything about her was designed to make her passengers feel pampered and well taken care of. Waiters would serve caviar and champagne while passengers lounged by the pool, sipped cocktails in the piano bar, or danced in the mirrored ballroom. Life on board was meant to be relaxed and enjoyable. In the years that followed, she would sail back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean, carrying wealthy travelers and European immigrants alike. But after a few years, the novelty of traveling by ship began to wear off. Airplanes were faster, cheaper, and more convenient. As a result, passenger liner travel went into a steep decline, and Andrea Doria lost money on almost every voyage. In order to stay afloat, she had to lower her prices and sail during the off-season to keep filling up berths. She even began sailing from New York to other ports like Montreal, Boston, and even Las Vegas. By the mid-1950s, it was clear that Andrea Doria was becoming more of a liability than an asset. And so the company decided to sell her to a group of investors who planned to convert her into a luxury cruise ship. On July 25, 1956, Andrea Doria left Florence for her final voyage, sailing under the flag of Panama and commanded by Captain Anthony Costa. Aboard were 706 passengers and 555 crew members. The trip was supposed to be a leisurely cruise around the coast of New England before returning to New York. But bad weather forced the captain to take a shortcut through the busy shipping lanes of the southern coast of Nantucket Island. On July 25th, just before midnight, lookouts on board spotted a bright light directly in their path. The captain quickly sounded the alarm, but it was too late. Soon, Andrea Doria and the Swedish ship Stockholm collided broadside. The impact tore a massive gash in Andrea Doria's side, and water began pouring into the ship. Passengers were jolted out of their sleep and rushed to the upper decks to find lifeboats waiting for them. Some were reluctant to leave the ship, thinking that it was just a drill. But soon it became clear that this was no drill. Captain Costa knew that his ship was doomed. He contacted the captain of Stockholm to inform him of the situation and requested assistance. But there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on board, and Captain Costa realized that many of his passengers would not survive. One of those passengers was socialite Barbara Riekman. She was asleep in her cabin when she heard a loud crash. Thinking that it was thunder, she got up to investigate. That's when she felt the lurch of the ship and the glistened lights. She rushed onto the deck where she saw Stockholm's silhouette against the moonlight. As the reality of the situation dawned on her, she grabbed her fur coat and ran to the nearest lifeboat. Meanwhile, other passengers were not so fortunate. Many were killed in their sleep when their cabins flooded or on the promenade deck when it collapsed. All the while, Captain Costa was desperately trying to get in touch with the nearby island of Nantucket, but bad weather was disrupting radio communications. Without any help on the way, he ordered lifeboats to be distributed and passengers to be mustered on the upper decks. But as dawn broke, it became clear that Andrea Doria would sink before help could arrive. Passengers stood on the upper decks, waving to the people on Stockholm, who were now just a few hundred yards away. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the lifeboats arrived. One by one, passengers were plucked from the wreckage until there were none left. When the Coast Guard arrived, they found 46 people floating in the water, 15 alive, and 31 dead. Soon, helicopters and planes from the nearby Cape Cod Air Force Base arrived to assist with the rescue effort. The Coast Guard organized an extensive search effort, but only 52 people were found alive. Over the next few days, the bodies of 42 dead passengers and crew members washed up on the shores of Nantucket Island. In the aftermath of the disaster, the survivors faced a long and difficult journey toward recovery. Many suffered from injuries and illnesses sustained during the sinking, while others struggled to cope with the psychological trauma of the event. Despite the tragedy, there were some heroes who emerged. Among them was Captain Anthony Costa, who was praised for his calm and decisive actions during the crisis. His quick thinking and level-headedness undoubtedly saved many lives. The wreck of the Andrea Doria remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of the sea. What's your opinion? What do you think caused the sinking of the Andrea Doria? Let me know your thoughts below. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also check out my podcast on various platforms. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.